Ronald Reagan once said, "A nation that cannot control its borders is not a nation." Not too long ago, Joe Biden agreed.
No great nation can be in a position where they can't control their borders. I don't go for this idea of having the allowance of a significant increase, several 100,000 people a year, to take regular jobs, particularly in the construction industry. When you have another 300,000 people competing to hang drywall, we have plenty of Americans that take those jobs. 15 years from now, we're going to be saying, what are we going to do about the flow of illegals into the country of the United States of America?
20 years later, that talk's racist. But Biden's right. People are asking, what are we going to do? So how'd this guy turn into the best travel agent in the world? Why is he drilling holes in the border wall? Why did he stop deportations? Why is he butting heads with Texas Governor Greg Abbott? Abbott puts up a razor wire. Biden grabs a pair of wire cutters. Abbott tried to block the Rio Grande. Biden sues him. And now the feud's just morphed into a Mexican standoff. Right in the middle of Eagle Pass, Texas. Ground zero for the border break-ins. The governor's decided to take matters into his own hands. Fully armed Texas National Guardsmen busted in with military vehicles and seized control of over 2.5 miles of borderland right along the Rio Grande. And Texas has thrown up razor wire and is blocking Biden's border agents from getting in. Biden's border agents are being denied access to their boat ramp. Texas has now taken full control over this border checkpoint. The federal government's been expelled. And what we have here is a good old constitutional crisis. Does Biden blink? Or does he use federal muscle to push Texas off this turf? Both sides are armed. What's the move? The situation's urgent because Jerry Nadler needs to eat.
We need immigrants in this country. Forget the fact that the farm that our vegetables would rot in the ground if they weren't being picked by many immigrants, many illegal immigrants.
Jerry Nadler hasn't eaten a vegetable since Reagan was president, but he can't stand seeing good food go to waste. Nadler speaks for the whole party.
Agriculture. I mean, you're going to have vegetables rotting in the fields. You're going to have construction sites that will lie dormant.
We have a shortage of workers in our country, and you see even in Florida, some of the farmers and the growers saying, why are you shipping these immigrants up north? We need them to pick the crops down here.
Those folk who are coming across are the ones who are helping to put food on our table.
Wait a second. Democrats said these were dreamers crossing the border. They're all going to college, but they're really just here to pick crops? The Democratic Party has not changed a lot in 150 years. But besides working the fields, these migrants are baby machines, they say.
The fact is that the birth rate in this country is way below replacement level, which means our population is going to start shrinking. And the ratio of people on Social Security and Medicare is going to increase relative to the number of people supporting them. This is a problem faced by every major country in the world. Few countries, however, have the means to solve this problem through immigration. People want to immigrate to the United States. They do not want to immigrate to China or Russia. We are very lucky in that respect.
I've had 4 babies, Nadler. You've had 1. Maybe you should dim the lights and open a bottle of wine instead of opening the border. Something about what Nadler said, though. Where have I heard that before?
The great replacement theory.
This conservative, reactionary, anti-immigrant, anti-urban, anti-change.
You have folks on television stations talking about the replacement theory, scaring the living hell out of people who don't have a whole lot of emotional stability.
We were told this idea of replacement was a racist right-wing theory. I'm confused now.
An unrelenting stream of immigration. Non-stop. Non-stop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. fewer than 50% of the people in America from then and on will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing. That's a source of our strength.
So, just so we understand, Democrats are saying we need to open the borders so migrants come in here and they can have babies, and that's a good thing. What else are Democrats saying about this theory of theirs?
In a couple of presidential cycles, you'll be on election night, you'll be announcing that we're calling the 38 electoral votes of Texas for the Democratic nominee for president. It's changing. It's going to become a purple state and then a blue state because of the demographics, because of the population growth of folks from outside of Texas.
Starting to make sense now, right? Open the border, replace the babies Americans aren't having with foreign babies, and in a generation, red states become blue states. That's not what I said. That's what Democrats just said. Cheap labor and babies, crops and votes. Don't you see, the open border is not a crisis, it's the goal. Last September and October, there were more border crossers than American babies born. The truth is that unchecked borders discourage Americans from having bigger families. It drives up home prices. It stagnates wages. It crowds schools, raises taxes. Here's an idea, Jerry. Americans will start getting sexy, and we'll manage our immigration system, and you can still have all the veggies you want, okay?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.